Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Junix.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you? 2 days to the election. Can't wait.
Yes, we can't wait.
How are you, Ayo?
I'm very well, thank you, Oji.
I know in 2 days we're all going. Everybody will what? Rest. Rufai, how are you? Good morning.
Rest.
Perfect. Good morning.
Those that will eat breakfast will eat breakfast and will rest.
Inshallah. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In the United States, senior government officials lent their voices to peaceful elections in a video message to Nigerians just 2 days to the general election. The officials include U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield, and Samantha Power, Administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development. The officials urged Nigerians to vote on Saturday as they have the opportunity to create a better future for the country by participating in free and fair elections.
And during this election, you, the people of Nigeria, have a chance to make your voices heard, to choose your future.
The United States does not support any individual candidate for office.
But we strongly support a peaceful election
that reflects the will of the people of Nigeria.
Because free and fair elections in Nigeria help create a freer and fairer world for everyone.
Your vote matters.
Then, U.S. First Lady Jill Biden headed to Africa on Tuesday for a 5-day visit focused on empowering women and young people and addressing food insecurity. Jill Biden's first stop was Namibia, and then she will head out to Kenya, accompanied by her granddaughter, Naomi Biden. The visits to the East African countries is part of a push by the United States to step up engagement with Africa as a counterweight to China's influence on the continent. In Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday advised candidates contesting in the general election to respect the choice and voice of the electorate at the signing of the peace accord by candidates and chairpersons of 18 political parties participating in the presidential election. In his goodwill message at the ceremony organized by the National Peace Committee, the president said that since the start of his administration, he has been committed to leaving a legacy of free, fair, credible, safe, and peaceful elections.
Since my assumption of office, we have worked so hard to ensure that we pass on a legacy of free, fair, credible, safe, and peaceful elections.
Finally, as Nigerians prepare for the 2023 general elections, a video of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States and the first black president to assume the position, speaking to Nigerians just before the 2015 polls, has made the rounds on social media. In the video message, the former U.S. President stated that for any election to be credible, it must be free and fair.
For elections to be credible, they must be free, fair, and peaceful. All Nigerians must be able to cast their votes without intimidation or fear. So I call on all leaders and candidates to make it clear to their supporters that violence has no place in democratic elections.
All right. Well, Barack Obama's message is re-echoed again with President Muhammadu Buhari's statement at the signing of the peace accord yesterday. But I want us to do something different on what's trending today. I'd like for us to go over...
Before you do that,
sure.
Somebody sent me some special information now.
On
saying more viewers are watching Arise News on YouTube than currently watching Al Jazeera Live, Bloomberg Live, Channels, TVC, and ABC News Live.
Yes.
So, you are truly famous. So, add small swag.
Okay, swag.
Good swag. People are watching you on YouTube more than any other channel.
Are you saying, is it me or Arise News? It's the morning show. All of the shows, prime time, Arise is doing fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, well, kudos to Arise News. All right. Like I was saying, I'd like for us to do something different on this edition of What's Trending. I'd like for us to go over all the 4 leading contenders up for the elections on Saturday. I'd like for us to start with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who, has had a long track record in the history of politics in Nigeria. This is my take. I mean, he has been known to have put a lot of politicians in power. He's also boasted about putting in the current administration. We don't know what his chances are, but he has also been tackled a lot of times based on his, the record of his health, his wealth, and all of that. Well, in his closing argument, Tinubu said that their administration will work to ensure not just a farewell to poverty, but also usher in an era of prosperity in our country. He also said to achieve this, they will re-engineer our security architecture to enhance the capacity of our armed forces and security agencies to guarantee the safety of lives and property of our people, and that he will enable our farmers. During his campaign, he's always talked about agriculture. It's not the first time we're hearing agriculture. He says that our farmers will fully return to their farms with the increase in food production and affordability. Rufai, I'd like your thought on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his chances as well.
I mean, great one. Whatever people say, give it to him. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a politician that will constantly be in the minds of Nigerians for a long time. Why? Because, like he has done, he has helped a lot of people get into the political race. There are many governors that tout the ascendancy into him and all of that. Some people say, yeah, he built Lagos. We can argue that nobody built Lagos anyway, because Lagos had been a crown colony since the 1860s, thereabout. But apart from that, you cannot take it away from him that through him, Fashola came about, Ambode came about, and Sanwo-Olu came about. And these people have tried in their own little time, to be able to amplify Lagos. But Lagos is still bedeviled with a lot of challenges. Like just this morning, for the 5 years in a row, a couple of weeks ago, I think last year, the stat came out that Lagos is one of the worst cities to live in the world. It's been like that for 5 years. Out of school children and all of that. But also he will make an argument that he has done infrastructure. You can see the Lekki Seaport, other great things he has done, the rail line and all of that. But you see, apart from that, going to the national scene, he said he will revitalize the economy. He's going to bring about agric boards. Some people argue and say, okay, what was the lot of agric board in the 60s? What led to their demands in the first place? He's going to revitalize the economy. He has sort of an idea as regards, raising revenue and all of that. And he's also said he's going to open up the economy as regards tech for young people and all of that. But people may also make the argument that all of this is in the execution of this Grand Plaza idea. He's got a national spread. You can't take it away from Bola Ahmed, but he's got a national spread. He reaches across all. He's got a formidable campaign because also he's a media owner. And don't forget that the power of media too comes in strong in all of this. But it's part to winning. I think what will shift the balance for Bola Ahmed Tinubu is if he can do well in the Northwest, Northwest, Northeast, parts of the North, and pick a couple of votes in the South. That has always been, his strategy to winning. But he's a formidable part of the race. Some polls have tipped him to win. The Fitch polls once or twice have tipped him to win and all of that. But one thing you can't take away from him is a formidable politician. But there are also arguments, like you said, about drug records, age, and all of that, primary school and all of that. All of these cases, you've had a plethora of cases in court as regards that, but you can't take it away from him. He's put in a formidable argument. He's put in a formidable campaign. And concerning his health, the refrain he will always say is the fact that they say, oh, I'm not healthy and all of that, but I have campaigned the hardest. He has really done well on the campaign train, campaigning across board. But most importantly, whatever we say here is just academic because it's the Nigerian people that make their decisions. All
right, let's move over to Atiku Abubakar since we don't have much time. In his closing argument, he says we can build Nigeria of our dreams. We know that, Atiku Abubakar was former vice president of Nigeria who has had a long track record in the history of politics in Nigeria. He has said that the country, has been incredibly good to him and that he's in the race because he's a product of Nigeria. Let's take one of his closing arguments. He said, a Nigeria that took its young from the cradle, educate them and gave them economic opportunity till their grave. And this is the Nigeria that he was born into. Dr. Abate, I'm sure that you have a lot more to say about Atiku Abubakar. I don't want to read much on him. Here, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Atiku Abubakar so that we can move over to other candidates really quickly.
What more can I say? All the candidates have, presented their cases. They've gone around the various constituencies, including the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. And today, before you joined us, we had Are Dele Momodu, who is a spokesperson for the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, and he made a very strong case for Atiku Abubakar, as other spokespersons have done for their own candidates. You already, outlined the 5-point agenda. Atiku is campaigning on the basis of a 5-point agenda, which is available in the This Day newspaper today. I think at page 25, thereof. But the thing to say is, as I said earlier, that Nigerians must go out en masse to vote. They must do so wisely, in an informed manner, and that the security agencies must provide an enabling environment to ensure that there is safety and that the outcome is credible. Now, a number of issues. The Inspector General of Police spoke yesterday, and he was saying that there will be curfew from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, which is, of course, what is usually done during election period. But what would the Inspector General of Police do about a certain Simon Ekpa, who has said in certain parts of the country, from the south, in fact, from Warri Ugeli all the way to Eket, to Uro, Uyo, to Ahoda, to Bayelsa, that nobody should come out on election day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that there should be no voting in those places. That would be a major challenge, not just for the police, but also the security agencies. Also, with security being an important issue, I think it's also important that people are reminded of what was said by the Inspector General of Police again yesterday, that state security outfits are not part of this election. So Amotekun is not part of the security arrangement. Benue revolutionaries, or whatever they call themselves, they are not part of it. Another state security outfits are not allowed.
All right.
The ones to be in charge of security are properly defined. But all of this notwithstanding, the security agencies that will monitor the elections should not brutalize the Nigerian people.
I like that point, but we have to move on.
They should not brutalize the Nigerian people.
All right, let's move on. We have 2 more candidates. Let's go to Peter Obi. He said, a new Nigeria is possible on the 25th of February. We all know Peter Obi, that, he's always been described as a social media president and, someone who's had no structure. And he's definitely used this to his advantage. As we have said, that he's one of the youngest candidates to lead up this election. He has really changed the face of politics in Nigeria, and he's utilized his youth movement known as the Obedience. We all know his Obedience. Let's go quickly to some of his closing arguments, if we can pull that up really quickly, if we have his closing argument, or we can also just quickly touch on Kwankwaso as well, NNPP's candidate to Nigerians under the leadership of Rabiu Kwankwaso. He has been an aspirant, and this is the first time he's becoming a candidate. And we've known that he's had a massive following in the north, known as the Kwankwasia movement. I'd like for you quickly to comment on both of them, Peter Obi and Kwankwaso.
Very quickly, Peter Obi is going to be riding on what he represents as a deviation from the old and the new.
Yes.
That's what a number of people, that's what he's riding on very strongly. In terms of his disadvantages, his spread, there's still that criticism of how well he can penetrate into the north, northeast, northwest, not very strong in those areas. With Kwankwaso, again, the same challenges he's facing in regards to regional politics, but in terms of his welfare policies, that's perhaps something that would work really well for him.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
We only have 2 days to the election. We wish the candidates best of luck. Thank you all for your great insight on these candidates today. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.